All right, looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Bart Johnson here, and once again, it is Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it's time for me to hang out live with you guys, chat, talk a little camera stuff, and just some general filmmaking chat and whatnot. But if this is your first time here to the show, first of all, welcome. I appreciate you coming by, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel down below and click that notification bell so that anytime I have videos with filmmaking tips and tricks or gear reviews or live shows or any of that, you won't miss out and you'll be able to join us right here. Of course, today is Saturday, so that means it's live show time, and live means that you guys get to hang out and interact with me during the show, ask me questions, give me your thoughts and opinions on what we're talking about, and I can go ahead and pull our chat up here on the screen right here. I'm not sure why it's looking so funky right now, but it did that last week too, and then it fixed itself, so I'm gonna go by that logic and assume that it will fix itself again. But anyway, if you are here in the chat along the way, please make it known that you're here, that you're watching, and say hello and participate a little bit, because that makes the show so much more fun and so much better. Otherwise, it'd just be me sitting here in a room talking to myself. But anyway, guys, today we're going to talk about something that I really didn't know very much about at all, and that is 360 video. So 360 video, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Usually you see it on like Facebook when you upload like a panoramic photo or something. So that's photo, but you can like look around. And there have been rigs for GoPros where you set up, like 20 GoPros that they capture everything in 360 and then you stitch it together. But recently there have been a few companies that have been coming out with just standalone, very manageable, very small 360 cameras that can do video and photo and do all of the stitching and make it a lot easier than it used to be. Now, there's obviously a lot of high quality 360 gear out there that costs tens of thousands of dollars and get stuff like you see on like the Discovery Channel where you're swimming with the sharks and you can look around and everything's amazing high quality. These solutions are not that. They're really just, they're lower quality. They're sort of dipping your toes into 360. And so that's what I decided to do. And I picked up this guy right here. So this is the Insta360 One. So I had actually never heard of this company before, Insta360, but I saw a video or two pop up on YouTube and people were kind of impressed with this particular model. They have a whole bunch of different cameras, but this one is the 360 One. And I think they call it that because it can work standalone. As you can see, it is connected, can be connected to a phone. And I think that's the way most of the previous 360 cameras work. They were sort of attachments onto your phone to run it. But this guy can also capture everything, it just be used standalone. So we've seen the box. We don't care about the box. We want to see the actual camera itself. So here it is, guys. It's inside this little case, which I absolutely hate, by the way. So that is the worst part about this thing, is this weird little case. It only goes in that far, so yeah, you only need to protect the lenses, sure. But I don't know, this thing just looks kind of ridiculous to me that it doesn't actually encase the thing. But anyway, you pull it out of the case. Yeah, see, like I said, and I guess this case also acts as a stand too. You can pop it in there and stand it up, but whatever. And so this is it, guys. This is the camera. This is the Insta360 One. So if you're familiar with 360 cameras, this is going to look very similar. Basically, you have a lens here and you have a lens on the other side as well. And what they do is they're basically capturing 180 degrees each lens. And so then it gets stitched together to capture a full 360 of everything around it. So this guy is a standalone unit. It has an internal battery that can be powered via USB. Not sure how long it lasts, but I would guess probably a good while. Does take micro SD cards, so you can record directly onto this guy, and then you can transfer them to your phone or to your computer or whatever you want to use to edit it, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so there's that. It says on here 24 megapixels, so 24 megapixel stills. And on the other side, it says 4K UHD. So let me talk about this. in terms of resolution for 360, because we all know 4K, and we know 4K is good. That's high resolution. You know, it's pretty much top of the line right now. I mean, of course you can get like 6K, 8K, crazy cameras, but 4K is pretty good. 4K is what most people are after. But we're usually talking 4K in terms of a 16:9 two-dimensional display. So if you're looking at me, that means that this whole area, that's really hard to do, would be 4K. If it was 4K video, it's not, but anyway. And so, yeah, all those 4K worth of pixels are in just that. But this, where it gets a little tricky and people can get hung up, is it is shooting 4K resolution, but it's 4K resolution for the entire 360 environment. So those pixels are no longer just what you're looking at, but it's being used to capture everything around. So when you're looking at just a 16:9 portion of that, you know, if you're going around and viewing whatever, because obviously we can't see all 360 at once. It's just, we can't do that. You're seeing a much, much lower resolution, probably even lower resolution than 1080, than HD. So not the highest of quality, which is why there are rigs out there where people use a whole bunch of GoPros and stuff like that, and because they can all capture their own 4K images and it becomes a gigantic file. But this is 4K. It does all right. I'll show you guys some samples there. I see we have someone popping into the chat and saying hello. Christian, hey, nice to meet you there. Let's see here. Now we're getting some gibberish from Christian. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to talking about this camera there. But here we go. So that's a quick overview of the body of this thing. You know, it's plastic and metal, has a little power button on the side, which also acts as a capture button. So single tap and you can capture a photo, double tap and it'll start recording video. Now the nice thing about this is it has a 1/4-20 on the bottom here, so there are all sorts of accessories and stuff like that that you can attach this to. So I did pick a few of those up. One is this sort of selfie stick. I guess you could really use any extending pole with a 1/4-20 on the end, but I picked up the Insta360 One. You know, it extends it out and it'll allow you to get the camera into different vantage points and stuff like that. And the other thing is this camera is not waterproof. So like some of the older GoPros, it will require a waterproof case, and like GoPro, their waterproof case looks very much GoPro inspired. So it actually has the GoPro mounting system down at the bottom with a 1/4-20, and little clasp pops open. These are anti-fog things in there. But yeah, so it'll go in, clamp in, and there you go. Waterproof up to like 30 feet or something like that. So yeah, so there are accessories to get this thing going on, and I picked these up because I'm actually going to be taking this to Iceland for my very first outing. I'm leaving on Monday, and I figured that would be a really cool place to take some 360 photo and 360 video. Now, I have used this a little bit just in my backyard, and I'll show you guys some samples coming up. But I really haven't had the opportunity to really dive into everything that 360 video can do, and how to use it and stuff like that. And I got to figure out if I think that it's really a practical thing or whether it's just sort of a social media novelty. Obviously, you can get some really cool photos and stuff like that, share them on Instagram, share them on Facebook, share them on YouTube even, and get some really cool stuff. But in terms of professional work, is 360 a thing? So yeah, there's VR opportunities where you can capture, you know, say a faraway landscape or something. You can go and visit it and record it in 360, and then people can experience it with like VR goggles and act like they're there. So there's those aspects. But in terms of filmmaking, I don't know. But this particular camera had a few tricks up its sleeve that does make it kind of interesting. So I'll talk about those in a little bit there. So By the way, guys, if you do want to pick this camera up, I believe right now at the time of this video, it's about $300. So it's actually one of the more affordable, you know, little 360 cameras that are out there. There are some much more expensive ones. And I do have a link in the description below where you can go ahead and pick this guy up. And I also do have my Amazon storefront. I have created a 360 video travel kit that has all these accessories that I picked up for this, so you guys can go check out that storefront. Again, link is down in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stuff I've been able to capture with this guy, and see what the quality's like and how you would actually use these videos and photos. So let me go ahead and free up some screen real estate here so I can show you guys what we've got. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is a photo. So let me pull this up. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my screen here. So like I said, the camera will connect to your phone, and there's a lot of things you can do within the app. Actually, there's a lot of cool editing features within the app, but I'm more of a traditional guy where I like to edit on my computer. So you are able to offload those files and bring them into, this is their software, Insta360 Studio. It's a little clunky. It's not the cleanest. You can definitely see, you know, it's got the, you know, Chinese writing and stuff up here, but it works. It does what you need it to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to bring in a photo that I took with it. So it does have these proprietary formats, .insp for the photo, and then .insv. I'm guessing that's ins, like Insta360. So let's bring in an image. Open. Okay, here we go. So here is a 360 image that I took in my backyard. And so as you can see, the software takes it and immediately stitches it together and wraps it and turns it into a 360 file. So the nice thing about that is with this software, it just does exactly what you need. You bring it straight in, and yeah, it just interprets it fine. So there's me down there, holding the selfie stick sort of extension with the camera on the end. Now, what I want you to notice in this, and this is one of the reasons why I picked up the Insta360, is since the lenses are kind of offset, they say that aids them in the ability to hide the stick, like what it's mounted to. So here I can actually zoom into this. And so you can see, yeah, it's a little funky with the stitching on my hand here, but the stick is completely invisible. Yeah, you can see the shadow of it and all that, and you can tell that I'm holding it, but I mean, it makes it completely invisible. So when you're shooting videos and shooting photos, this really makes it look like there's a camera just sort of floating in front of you as you just hold it out, which is actually kind of cool. So as you can see there, what I did was I zoomed into it. I can zoom out. I can turn this whole thing into like a tiny planet kind of deal. And I can see full 360 of my backyard here. I was just playing around. But yeah, oh look, there's one of my puppies hanging out in the corner there. But yeah, so this is a photo, you know, decent quality, but I think what you're looking for more with this is the cool factor of, you know, doing stylized shots, you know, like something like a tiny planet or something like that, rather than, you know, a nice, sharp, super high quality image. You're not going to get something even comparable to like a DSLR, at least out of this unit. With the higher end 360 cameras, probably. But yeah, and then in this software here, you know, if you wanted to reframe and get whatever, they have a little button here where you can take a snapshot. So you'll take a screenshot and there you go. So let's see here. Let's bring in a video file, because video is what we're really interested in. So let's see here. Is this the one? Bear with me, guys. I think this is the one. Let's open this up. Yeah, so here's the video. Okay, so this video is playing through. I shot this in my backyard again. I was walking along, and I actually shot this in log, so don't worry about the sort of flatness to it. But here I can do the same thing. I can move around and do all sorts of stuff. Now, obviously, this is kind of wonky right now. So as you can see, look, it looks like the camera's just sort of floating in front of me. But yeah, this is kind of wonky, and it's like not stable the way that you would think. and there is a reason for that. And so over here you add gyroscopic stabilization. I understand, let it do its stabilization. I guess I have to stop it to do it. But anyway, it will stabilize the footage for you so that everything it becomes nice and stable. So that is the main way that I use this software, because it doesn't do a whole lot other than stabilize and allow you to export it to like an MP4 or something like that. And so what I've been doing is taking this, using it to add that stabilization to it, and then exporting an MP4 file out so that I can put it into like Adobe Premiere or something like that and work with it if I want to. So let me show you guys what comes out of it. Let's drop this down. So I went through, so the original MP4 file literally looks like this. This is what the camera is capturing. It's this weird sort of, you can see everything is stretched around. And so it's a 360 image that is being displayed rectangular. And so I'm sort of warped. And so you can see where that software, the Insta360 software, makes it a lot easier to visualize this kind of stuff. Now this is before stabilization. So I process it through the stabilization, exported it, and bring it up to this. Now to you right now, this still probably looks like crazy nonsense. But if you look at like the horizon here, it keeps it nice and level the entire way. So it has stabilized as best as it can, and it does an actually pretty good job. And this will make it in handy when you're moving around and viewing the footage. So I stabilized it. And yeah. Okay, so I've exported those guys, run it through the software. I haven't really dove in depth into all the stuff you can do in their software because I just got this thing. I literally only had time to shoot a few shots with it and play around with it, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what we're working with here. Now, say I want to mess with this a little bit. Maybe I want to do some color. Maybe I even want to try and do some editing and then put something up and out and onto YouTube. I take it into Adobe Premiere. So let's go ahead and bring this guy into Adobe Premiere. Let me just bring this up here. Here we go. So here we are in Adobe Premiere. Like I said, we just took a standard file, an MP4 that I exported from the Insta360 software, and dropped it into Premiere. Now, one of the coolest things about Adobe Premiere right now is that they do support 360 video editing, which is awesome. It is a feature in there. So let's take a peek at this. If I go over here and unclick this, this is actually a toggle VR video display button in Premiere, if you guys didn't know that. You can add this by clicking here and then you find it and drag it into your dock. But I've done it there. So this is what our video actually looks like. You know, it's that weird rectangular stretched warped world kind of thing. And so let me show you a full screen of that and what we're looking at. So if we come over to here and I play it, you know, you can see this is that stabilized footage again. I did a little bit of coloring to it and whatnot. But yeah, definitely not what we're looking for in terms of 360, right? So let's come back to the main screen. And we put on that mode. And Premiere now allows us to go ahead and view it in 360. So we can play through while going and zooming around and whatnot. And once I get the video trimmed up and colored or however I want it, what I can then do, guys, is export this from Adobe Premiere. I did a test of this. I just exported that clip. I can export the clip out, use the settings. Premiere does have preset settings for VR video is what they call it. Exported that, uploaded it to YouTube as a test, and uploaded it to Facebook as a test. And Facebook and YouTube both recognized that it was a 360 video, and they presented it in a wrapped mode, and you can take your phone and you can look around and view it and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually pretty neat. You know, it's a little bit of process and I'm still fine-tuning the way to go about it and how to use this type of footage. But I think it is really, really cool. And the reason is, you know, that potential for capturing absolutely everything at the same time. And then the viewer can really see the environment that you're in or what you're experiencing, and all that. I think that's really, really cool. And so that's one of the uses for this, is that thing we're used to where you can either view it on your phone or you can drag it around and on social media, and you can go and look her up, down, all around, and all that. Now, this camera also has another little party trick to it. And unfortunately, I don't have an example to show you guys because I couldn't figure out exactly how to show this to you. I guess I could have downloaded the video or whatever. But in the app, in the software on the app, what you can do is you can actually set it to be a fixed frame video. And what that means is, instead of the viewer being able to sort of look all over the place and free roam and all that, you're still going to have all of your 360 environment captured, but you direct where they are looking. And the cool thing that it can do in the software is it can track objects. It can track people, or you can set keyframes for at certain points you want to look up to this or over to that. And so what happens is you get this stabilized, almost gimbal looking movement where you can go in 360 and direct the viewer's eye to wherever you want, or track something. I put a video up on Facebook. Find me on Facebook and it should be up there. But I used it to track my puppy as he was running through the backyard. And all I had to do, you don't have to worry about where you point the camera. All I did was walked sort of near him with the camera. Who cared which way it was facing? And then in the software told it to track him. And the camera tracked and followed and made all the adjustments and kept him in the frame the whole time. And then when I exported the video, it comes out as a regular 16:9 video, and it's just, it was kind of amazing. If the camera had, higher resolution, higher quality, I could possibly see that being used in a filmmaking scenario where you can capture absolutely everything and then go through and get these amazing camera moves. Imagine walking like through an entire scene or something like that with just a cameraman with like a 360 camera, and he just walks through and he's capturing absolutely everything. Of course, he'll be capturing himself too, so you'll have to avoid that. But he just has to walk straight through. And then as all this stuff is happening, you can then in software afterwards direct the fluid camera moves to see from this action, and then we move into the next room, maybe it goes over to the other. And so you could really utilize this. Again, I don't think with this particular camera that the quality is there for something that I would use it for, a professional project in that sense. But it is a really cool premise in theory, to use in the future as this technology grows. And I really do think this technology is going to grow. I do think there is a future to this beyond just like cool social media stuff. And so, I would keep an eye on it, and I'm really happy with checking this particular unit out. One thing I don't think I mentioned to you guys, this is for iOS. It has a little lightning connector that pops out of the bottom to connect it to your phone. But I think they do have an adapter for it for Android, either that or they did create an Android model that'll allow you to connect it to those. But the one that I have and the one that you'll most commonly find is an iOS one. All right, so we went over this, that, and the other. Sorry guys, just checking up on my notes and see how we're doing here. And again, guys, if you are here in the chat and have any questions about either this particular camera or 360 in general, I'm still just learning 360, so I will do my best to answer it. But let me know if this is something that you are interested in, and let me know down in the comments as well if you're watching the replay of this, if this is something that you are either looking to get into or something that you are already doing. And let me know, what kind of camera you're using and how you like it and how you're utilizing that footage. I picked it up admittedly because, like I said, I'm going to Iceland on Monday, and my wife and I are going to go and travel around to some really cool scenic places that people don't usually get to go to, and so I figured shooting video and photos with this is going to allow me to do some really cool creative things and hopefully get some really cool content very easily. Where with a GoPro, if you go somewhere, say you strap it to your head or something, or you put it on the end of a stick, you have to point that camera and you sort of worried did you miss action? Maybe you don't have one that has a monitor on the back of it. Did you miss it? Did you get it in frame? Oh, that frame isn't so good. But with this, you've got everything. you have every frame captured at the same time, which is kind of cool. You know, as a cinematographer, it's hard for me to kind of grasp because my whole art form is framing shots and stuff like that. And now with this, I don't have to frame anymore. So who knows what the future holds. So I saw Trevor just popped up in the chat. Let's go ahead and pull Trevor up here. How you doing, man? So I can see potential uses for this for real estate video, travel and vacation videos, but for some serious storytelling where you control not only direction but field of view and angle of view, it's too broad a brush. Yeah, so that's sort of my feeling as well. Obviously, vacation, I saw it as being like, well, yeah, of course, this is like, you know, 10 GoPros bundled into one. You know, I've got, it's roughly GoPro quality, and I can see absolutely everything. So this is going to be awesome for vacation. Real estate, definitely. Anytime you want to show an environment, that's where it would be cool to have a viewer on a website or something like that where people can go and scroll and drag and they can look around in full 360 and allow them to just view it on their own and check it out, as opposed to that sort of guided tour kind of deal. But yeah, for serious storytelling, you know, it's, I don't know, you know, it remains to be seen. I don't have any plans to put this into action with you know, narrative storytelling or anything like that. But who knows? Maybe as the tech grows and gets a little bit farther along. The other thing is editing together different clips of 360 video can be really jarring because all of a sudden you're in a completely different environment. It's really hard to make transitions. This would be great for like one-er shots where you do like I said, like a whole walkthrough of something and a whole scene plays out. But you need to, you know, we haven't perfected that editing without it being jarring and weird, like, whoa, where did we just teleport from one place to another? Kind of a difficult thing. But who knows? Maybe I'll play around with it. Bobby's asking, can you live stream with it? Yes, you can. That is a very good question. Sorry, I forgot to bring that up. Yeah, with the app, you can live stream. You can also directly publish your photos and videos from the app. I didn't show very much with the app, but there is a lot in it. You can edit your photos, you can edit your videos, you can do all that post stuff that I talked about, reframing and tracking stuff, all in the app. And then yes, you can live stream to Facebook, YouTube, and they've got a few others in there where you can live stream from this. The only kicker is that it has to be connected to the phone in order to live stream. So it can't just wirelessly send it over. So that brings something else up that I should have told you guys up at the front. I'm really sorry. There's 3 ways to utilize and control this camera. One is as a standalone, where you just click this button on the side to shoot photos. 1 click, double click, and shoots video. Okay. Triple click, you can set it to do a whole bunch of different things, like a timer. They have a bullet time kind of effect deal. And sorry, I was just checking something. But the second mode is over Bluetooth. So with Bluetooth, it will connect to your phone and you can change some settings and stuff and you can trigger it, but you don't get a live preview feed from the camera over Bluetooth. The third way is direct connected to the phone via the little lightning port that flips out at the bottom. And so then you have full control over the settings, and you also do get a live preview of what everything is looking like as you're shooting. So those are the 3 different modes. So to modify the settings like exposure compensation, white balance, whether you want to shoot raw photos, whether you want to shoot log video, yes, it can do all those things. But you just need to connect the device to the phone physically, make those changes to the settings, and then you can take it off and you can use it as a standalone, and all those settings are saved. So there's that. So Bobby's asking if it is Android compatible. Like I said, this particular one that I have is iOS. It has a lightning connector right here. And so I believe they make an adapter for Android. I haven't seen it anywhere, but I know there was talk of that. And I'm not sure if they're going to make an actual just Android camera, you know, with a different, like maybe USB-C or something connector built in there. I believe they have an adapter to adapt this model to go to Android. Trevor says, I also can't see where this would have tangible advantages over using small drones for storytelling, which have much higher quality and you can do precise movements with. Yeah, that's very true. You know, in the realm of 360 videos, this thing's $300. It's very, very like entry level. You know, so I'm sure there is higher quality. I'm sure there's much more professional capability systems out there, but that tech is like tens of thousands of dollars at the moment. I actually do know a guy who does a lot of the 360 shooting for like Nat Geo and Discovery, so maybe I'll try and get him on a future show to sort of tell us about how he captures his stuff and how it's utilized, because his is like a whole, he does it pro level. It's amazing. I'm going like tourist mode. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the quality just isn't there. And yeah, it's not ready to make gimbals and drones and other camera systems obsolete just yet, but it is a pretty cool feature to frame in post. It's like raw camera movement, if you will, you know, like a raw photo or like raw video where you can just make all your changes after the fact. You still want to get it kind of right at the time, but it's like raw for camera motion and movement, which is kind of cool. And so I'll play with it more and try and put out some more examples and see what its limitations are. Of course, there's going to be limitations. But, you know, the theory of the tech is kind of what intrigues me more than necessarily the device that I'm holding in my hand. Let's see what else we got in here. Trevor says, I think there's still upside for drones for storytelling because they will only get smarter and safer. That's true. Drones, I'm a huge drone fan. I have three drones? Yes, 3 drones. And I'm always finding new and cool ways to use them for storytelling and for capturing. You know, the days of just flying a drone super high up in the air and getting that ooh and ah because how'd you get a camera up there? Those are over. It's been years now. Everybody has drones. That trick doesn't work anymore. So now you need to be creative and use your drones as real cinematic storytelling tools. And actually, I have a video I'll put down in the description down below, guys. I have it's getting kind of older now, but the principles are still sound. It's the 10 tips to shooting cinematic aerial footage. So go ahead and check that out if you get a chance down in the description below there, guys. Let's see here. Kari Spencer, just question mark. Let me know what your question mark is about, and hopefully I can answer it for you. And Trevor says, yeah, Net Geo would be cool. Yeah, I might try and reach out to my buddy. He'll probably laugh. He'll probably laugh at the fact that I have this one, because I know he has some like pro level ridiculous setups and does some amazingly cool stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll get in touch with him and see if I can have him come on the show and talk to us a little bit about, you know, the high-end 360 video. But I gotta say, guys, for low-end 360 for $300, for something that I can toss in my bag and take with me on this vacation, I think this thing is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like the fact that it doesn't have to be attached to my phone the whole time. You know, I can connect it to my phone at the beginning, set the settings that I want, and then just have this on, you know, the stick going around or in the waterproof housing. And, you know, when we go into like the lagoons and stuff like that, I can bring it with me and just not have to worry and know that I'm capturing everything and get some really cool footage and perspectives, hopefully. Maybe play with some of the distortion and, you know, tiny planet stuff and all that. And I think it'll be really cool to check out. And then, of course, you know, it's, you know, micro SD card in here. So pop a 64 gig card in there and I'll just be able to shoot and shoot and shoot. And at the end of the day, dump it and take it into the software and play with it. Or if I'm antsy and I want to update you guys onto what I'm doing, I can do some quick edits right in the app on the phone and directly post right to Instagram or Facebook or wherever, so that you guys can see that, hey, check it out, I'm on top of this mountain in Iceland or something like that. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to see that kind of stuff and you haven't yet, make sure you find me on social media. I'm at Bart Johnson Productions on pretty much everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. So make sure you check it out, guys. All right, swig of water. Talking a lot. All right, I'm gonna shrink my Premiere and bring my my chat window more in front of me. I'm getting too old to my head over to the side the whole time. Bobby says 360 video with a drone for an approaching storm would be a cool thing. Hashtag storm chaser mode engaged. So actually, one of the videos that I saw that introduced me to this, that made me want to check it out, was over on this guy's channel. Gosh, what is his name? Colin Smith, Photoshop Cafe. So go check out his channel, Photoshop Cafe. But Insta360 sent him one of these along with an attachment that they make to add it to the DJI Mavic Pro drone, and he took it and did shots with it hanging below and on top, and got 360 video, and it's posted on YouTube in 360 of the drone like flying over the beach in California, and it was kind of cool. I am not going to do that. I don't have a Mavic Pro. I have a Mavic Air. And I saw on YouTube a guy did attach this to the bottom of the Mavic Air and was able to get the stuff. But the Mavic Air is a little bit underpowered to carry this. It doesn't fly quite as well. And so I'd really rather not lose my drone and this in Iceland while trying to do that. But, you know, it is a cool premise for the future. Maybe they'll start adding 360 cameras. I could see DJI doing that, just being like, yeah, let's team up with Insta360 or buy Insta360, probably at this point is the way DJI would go, and start putting an option for a 360 camera attachment. You know, maybe they'll have removable gimbals and on the drones where you can have like the regular camera, or you can slap on a 360 camera. Because yeah, putting this in cool, unusual places and having people be able to, especially if you go VR mode, keep doing this. It's like the international symbol for virtual reality now. But for them to be up there and look like you're like riding a drone, that's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. So go check out his video. It's one of his most recent ones. I think it just came out last week. And then he also has a video showing how he did it. But he did that stuff. All right, let's see what we got. Alexa, go home. Sorry, my Echo was waking up for some reason. Must have set a trigger word for it. Let's see here. Charles says, yeah, say goodbye to that drone, though. So, like I said, this thing's light enough that they actually make attachments for the DJI Mavic Pro. If they made an attachment for my Phantom, I would probably fly it on the Phantom, because that thing's got more than enough power. But the Mavic Air, I don't feel like losing that guy. Not yet, at least. I like that thing. So, there we go. Bobby says, I lost one drone trying to get footage of an approaching storm front. Well, you know what? You got to take the risk, Bobby. You know, you take the risk, that's when you get the cool shots. Safe shots, everybody gets those. But you want to get the 1 in a million amazing shot? Yeah, you're going to have to risk it, man. Roll the dice. My wife would get mad at me saying that, considering I have a drone at the bottom of a lake. But, you know, it happens, so. But anyway, I'm probably going to be wrapping this one up a little bit early today, but I'm going to hang out and keep chatting with you guys for a little bit longer. So let me know if you do have any other questions, specifically about the Insta360 or about 360 video in general. Like I said, I'm not the most versed in it, but I am learning, and I am really intrigued about the ways to use this beyond sort of just hey, look at me on Instagram kind of cool thing. And the video specifically, I'm trying to wrap my head around, almost literally, because it's, you know, reframing that stuff and working with it in Premiere and shifting it around and all. It's a completely different way of thinking. And I was having some trouble with it at first. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, well, how do I do it? You know. And luckily there are some tools in Premiere that make it a little bit easier to work with it, but it's a whole new ball game, capturing everything. The other thing you got to think of is you're not going to be using this in like a film set environment, this being any 360 video, because we always have, you know, lights and people and crew and all sorts of stuff set up. You know, sometimes there's stuff hidden literally just off the edge of the frame of what you're seeing in camera. You know, you've got a boom pole. You know, I've got a mic that's sitting right here, just out of frame. But if you shoot in 360, you see everything. So yeah, you have the ability to then reframe and make sure you don't see any of that stuff. But at least in the traditional look everywhere, all over the place, freely 360 experience, you're not going to be able to do that on a traditional type film set, because you're going to see all the crew, you're going to see the camera, you're going to see all the gear. I guess you wouldn't see the camera because the camera can't see itself. So scratch that one at least. But yeah, it's a really interesting way of thinking about that kind of stuff. So guys, if you are interested in the Insta360 One, I will say this again, I do have an affiliate link for Amazon down below. Affiliate link means it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it means that Amazon will give me a little kickback percentage for sending you guys over there. So I do appreciate that. You know, you get to pick up a cool new camera to play with, and I get a little something to help keep the lights on and keep the show going. Win-win. But I also have created a 360 travel kit on my Amazon storefront. You will also find a link to that down in the description. So any of the products that you purchase through that storefront, I've got a lot of other lists on there as well that I've been building up. I've been working on putting together some kits for you guys of the gear that I use. So all of that is in there, so you can feel free to go ahead and check that stuff out. Buy it through there if you'd like. No obligation, of course, but you know, I would of course appreciate it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to start bringing this one home. It is gorgeous outside here today, so I want to get outside and hang out with my puppies and enjoy the first weather that's not like 100 degrees in the past like week. I will not see you guys next Saturday. So for obvious reasons, I will be in Iceland. So I would love to do a live show. You know what? I'd love to do a 360 live show with this, but I can't guarantee what my coverage and what my internet connectivity is going to be like over there. So I doubt that I'm going to be able to have any sort of situation where I'll have enough data or Wi-Fi speed to do a stream. Who knows? Maybe I'll find a magic spot where I've got Wi-Fi galore, and I'll try and do a live stream from this guy. But we're not going to plan on it. We're going to take next Saturday off, unfortunately. But I will be back the following Saturday after that. So, you know, if you guys can hang tight, I'll see you again in 2 weeks, I promise. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. If it was your first time here, I really appreciate you coming by. If you guys are longtime viewers like Trevor, I know I see you all the time. Thank you very much for always coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys go ahead, like the video, share it, share the channel, and let's get some more people in this community so that we can hang out and chat. Hang out and chat. Man, I'm so bad at that. I should have made myself a list of the things that I wanted to hit. So I've had a lot of new things come up. You know, that Amazon storefront is one, but I've also started a Discord server. So Discord is sort of like an ongoing like chat room. And so what I've done is I've set up a server or room, a chat for this channel, and there is a link in the description down below. So if you would like to get in touch with me or with other viewers who join in there at any point, you know, you don't have to wait until Saturday. You can go ahead and pop in there to that Discord chat and ask questions, help each other out, share cool stuff, you know, whatever you want to do. Don't get too crazy in there, and don't be, you know, waking me up at like 3 a.m. with, you know, some Discord questions or something like that. But I think this will be a really cool forum for, you know, subscribers of the channel to hang out, discuss, and sort of bring our interaction a little bit beyond just the live shows on Saturdays, because I really do like interacting with you guys, and I think this could be a cool experiment. So, yep. Discord server down below. Go ahead and check that out, guys. And other than that, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Wish me luck in Iceland. Yeah, I'll see you in 2 weeks when I'll be getting ready to go to Rio. I'm going a lot of places, guys. So hopefully I'll have some cool visuals and content coming for you. All right, guys. Enjoy your Saturday. Take care of yourselves. And as always, I appreciate it. See ya.